I'm sure in deep space there's a girl robot thinking of the perfect room in which to live. Not easy to find the perfect room to live in deep space. And I hope we can answer that question today, because all the while we must realize that there is
no pink in outer space.
I just love going over to Google 3D Warehouse and looking at all the cool models, downloading some, reworking them maybe, and having some fun with them. It saves a little bit of time when you need something. I was looking the other day, found a site from a person named Enfy, I think, E-N-F-F-Y. Had some cool models. This caught my attention. A girl's pink room. I said, well, I don't really think I need a room that's pink and that, but the more I looked at the neat shapes of this room and the shelving and the little bed and all this stuff, I thought, well, maybe I could repurpose that in SketchUp and load it into iCLONE and do something maybe totally different. So I did it. Now let me be the first to tell you that I am no expert in SketchUp. All I do is just try to get what I want to do done and get out. I don't know what half of the things do in there, but hopefully we'll know just enough to modify this model. I'm going to hit the select tool over here. I'm going to use my mouse wheel and roll back. I'm going to hit the H key, bring up the hand and take a look at the model. I'm going to hold down the mouse wheel and turn around. And we've got an image here, which I don't think we really need, so I'm going to get that select tool and click on that image and hit the delete, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. It's gone. I'm going to hit the H key again. I'm going to try to center up this model here. And let's just try to see if we can modify this SketchUp model and get what we want out of it. First off, I don't think I need the rocking horse, so I'm going to hit the select key and let's see. It selects that particular part of the model, thankfully. Hit the delete key and let's get rid of that. Don't think I want this little drawer shelf device here. I'm going to delete that. And let's look around some more. Hit the H key and I'm going to slide with the left mouse, and then I'm going to roll back up here, and let's see. Oh, there's something in here. I don't think I need the bunny. That's pretty terrifying. So let's delete the bunny, and let's click on these books here, and let's delete those, because I've got some other book objects I can use, and I don't really need that. Let's go over here. There's some clothing items, towels and things. Let's select those towels, delete those. So let's just go through and delete certain things we want to get rid of and don't need, and then we'll hopefully separate things out. Now, we've got an object here. I don't really need these poles hangers. I think is what they are. They are supposed to be hanging racks. I can't seem to select that part of the object. I can select a wall, and I can select those things, but this one I select, it selects the whole item. So let's right mouse button and see what this menu says, and edit group. Let's see what that does. Okay. Now, once again, don't seem to be able to select things, so let's try explode. I don't know what that's going to do. That's a little weird. No, doesn't seem to do anything for me. Make component. Let's try that. That doesn't seem to do what we want to do. Okay, let's see again here. Let's right click on the object, edit component, see what that does. Okay, maybe that's it. Let's try that. So let's hit the delete key. Looks like we've selected a shelf there. Another shelf, get rid of that. Can we get rid of that? Okay, I'm going to hold down my mouse wheel and rotate around a little bit more. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay, okay, now that one doesn't seem to want to go, so let's see what the potential problem is there. Double click on it. Okay, it seemed like it selected it there. Once again, try to go again when I just keep clicking. There we go. Someone hopefully will explain what went on there. I don't know, but now it looks like we have deleted those objects that I wanted to delete. Hold down the H key. I'm going to hit the H key and turn it to the hand and move around. This seems to make, to me, I think I'd like to make a doorway maybe out of that. So let's select once again, grab the select tool here, grab that, and let's see if we can enlarge that. Here is a tool. I think that will enlarge something. Let's see. Okay. Alright. Let go. Right click. Okay. Looks like we were able to enlarge the tubular shape there. Let's click on that again, and I'd like to lower it a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to hit this move tool and drag it. There we go. Okay, that's about kind of what I want. I'm going to click again there to stop that. And now it looks like we've kind of, got that into the floor. I kind of like to move it back a little bit, so I'm going to try just one more time. Yeah, there it goes. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, now I've got it moved back a little bit. Okay, what I'd love to do now is punch a hole in there, and let's see if there's a way to do that. What I found was, and there's probably a better way once again, was to intersect this object, which we have selected, with the model. And now if I use my select tool, it selects the inside there of that wall. I can hit delete. Of course, there's another face to worry about. And now click that and delete that other face. And now we have an opening, which could be a doorway, let's say. So it's getting there. Okay, let's look about doing some different things to the model. I'm thinking I'm going to make the model a little bigger. So this tool right here, if you select a face and then just drag the tool, you can make a little bit bigger area there, which I kind of like. I think I want the walls a little higher, so I'm going to grab that part and just bring this tool up and stop there by clicking, and then I'm going to take this wall, and I think if I go over here and say that, it will be the same height as that other wall. It's kind of cool thing with SketchUp, once again, which I don't know beans about, but hopefully this will make some sense to someone. So we've raised the walls, we've extended the room a little bit. Now what I'd like to do is get some of these objects separated. So let's get the select tool and click over here, and lo and behold, that particular portion of the wall is a separate part of the object. So let's just drag it out of the way over here, click. And let's use that select tool again, and let's delete a few more shapes here. I don't really think I need these pillows right here, so I'm going to get the select tool, click on, I think that's a pillow, and hit delete, click that one, delete it, that one, and since these two shapes are symmetrical, I'm going to delete one of them and just select the other one. Hold down my mouse wheel again, and I'm going to drag that item off out of the way right there, and then I want to let's see if we can get this shelf item on the wall here. Select that without getting anything else, and that's the trick, is you want to select the item and not select anything else. I think we've done it, so let's once again use our moving tool here and drag up. Yep, see, it didn't work, so let's try that again. Select, deselect, and then select again, and let's see if that worked. There we go. Okay, separated that object out. Let's separate this bed out and drag around that object with the select tool. Everything is highlighted in blue, and let's move it over out of the way. Okay, separated that out. So I've separated some objects out, and then I'm going to go ahead, now since I don't know a better way to do this, and hopefully someone will correct me, I'm going to save this object with a new name and keep loading it back in and deleting objects and saving just the part I want. So we'll save this object with a new name, and let's just call it New Girls Room, or New Room, New. Add that to that. And I'm going to save this object right here. And then I'm going to keep loading this object back in, deleting items, and saving just the portions that I want and giving them new names. Probably going to separate these sheets and pillow, don't need that. One thing I like to do is give some extra surfaces to things. Like this wall here, I'm going to give it a new surface so I can resurface it in iCLONE. And let's give this wall, just in case I see these walls in iCLONE when I build this object out. I don't care what the surface is, let's just give it any surface, and that way we'll control what these surfaces look like a little more. And just any surface, as I said, will be fine. And resurface everything you want to give a new surface to that doesn't already have a surface. So there we go. I think that's it. Once again, we'll save this, and of course you need to save it, and I didn't do it the last time, save it as a SketchUp 6 because we're going to load it into 3D Exchange. Yes, we'll replace that, and I'm going to break out all these objects and bring them into 3D Exchange. Okay, I'm just going to open up the old 3D Exchange version 2 and use it to convert the SketchUp files into objects that can be used by iCLONE. Here's the, let's see, I think this is the room. Once again, I've separated out all of the objects using SketchUp, saved them separately. So here's the basic room and the walls. Notice things need to be smooth, so I usually just go up and pretty much select everything by holding down the Shift key, selecting one item, Shift key, and then turning on Auto Smooth, and now things are smooth. And then we'll save that into iCLONE. And let's give it a new name. Let's just call it New Room, and we'll do that. Okay. And then we'll load in all of our other objects that we've separately saved. Here was that separate wall. I think it's a glass wall, and nothing really to smooth there. So once again, we'll just save that into iCLONE. It's a new wall. Okay, and then all the other objects. Here was that strange arc shape. And once again, let's smooth that. I'll select all the vertices, smooths it up pretty good, and we'll bring all of these objects now into iCLONE. Oh, and when you load them in, of course, don't forget that it's a real good idea to center things up. So let's align to center and on the ground, and that's okay. And let's be sure, of course, as we said, to smooth everything out. And then, okay, let's bring our objects into iCLONE, which here they are now. Got a drawer with all the separate objects I've broken out from the warehouse object from SketchUp into Exchange, and now here we are in iCLONE, and this is our room now. As you can see, pretty simple. We've got the some of the new surface areas assigned, so now we can start dropping on objects, images for our surfaces. So I've got a drawer here with lots of grimy textures, and you know how much I love grime. So let's just drag some textures over onto our object. And let's see here. Here we are. Okay. And once again, it's always a good idea to refresh the object to make sure everything's going to map correctly. So I'm going to go down here to UV settings. And I found out earlier when I started playing with this object that box Z UV tends to work pretty good. So I'm going to use that for now. And we now, of course, have dragged and dropped our surface here. Let's select this surface. And don't want any color particularly. I want to take the color out, especially anything that's pink. Pink is not used in space, as we know. And let's play with just the size here. Let's lock our ratio and go with a couple up. There we go. Just create a little texture. It's kind of odd, so let's just size it some more for. That's too much. A little too obvious. So let's just go with 2 for now. And then we just start dragging and dropping textures to see how things look. Here's one over here. Let's drag this texture over here to this wall and see what that does. And there we go. And let's maybe once again play with the sizing. I'll turn off the ratio here and just size it in that direction there. And let's maybe move it over a little bit. Center it up with the entrance that we made. And there we go. Yeah, there we go. And let's take the color once again out of that texture. Kind of drain some of the color out of it. And then let's use the paint bucket. And drop it over there. And let's make sure we've selected that one. And let's maybe play with that sizing, positioning again here. Size that over a little bit. And there we go, something along those lines. Just rough it in. You can always tweak them some more later. Now our entrance here, a little tube that we set up, let's select that and use our eyedropper. Select that and let's find the texture. With that. Let's see. Yeah, this might be kind of cool. It's old steel doors. Let's drag in there. Here we go. Okay, and definitely don't want any pink on that, so let's go down here and drain our pink out. Give it a blue cast to her so slightly. Let's go over here, and it looks like the edge of that cylinder needs to be surfaced, so let's use our paint can and just drop it on there. And there we go. And so we'll go around the room doing pretty much the same thing. We'll find a texture that works there. And let's see if this here might work. Let's drag it and drop it onto that surface. And that might work. Kind of cool looking. Let's once again take the pink out. There is no pink in space. And go. Okay, so just start doing that around all the surfaces and find textures that you like. I, of course, like grimy textures, so just much more fun to play with. So just go around and start doing that. Okay, we've dragged the bed object here that we saved from our SketchUp object, and let's resurface it. And so let's go and find something for the mattress. Okay, and of course didn't do much, so as I've said before, it's always a good idea to refresh your UV settings. Box seems to be working pretty good, so let's use box Z and apply that. And once again, remove the pink, and we have a lovely dingy, probably very hard mattress. Mattresses are very hard in space, I've heard. Okay, and Let's look at another texture for this other area that's also pink. This looks kind of interesting. Let's drag this texture on and let's see what that looks like. That's kind of cool. So once again, let's take the pink out. And do that. And do that. Okay, and let's play with the positioning now. Let's just see what happens if we rotate. Okay, rotate might works good. The rivets kind of line up a little better. Let's play with sizing and just see what sizing does. Here we go. That's kind of cool. Get some louver effects there. Yeah, okay. That's kind of neat. Okay, we've got our object pretty much ready. We've got our objects here. I did create a null object, which I will show you here. It's a box, just simply a box. Everything has been parented to that box, and then I've brought the opacity down. And now, if I move the box, everything's going to move with it. So that way I can scale and size and rotate the room, and everything should follow that's parented to that box. You might want to add a few more objects. Hopefully you've built up a library of odds and ends. I built these old steel beams a long time ago in Lightwave Modeler, and I like to use them for structural things, and I think it'd be great for this kind of spaceship object. So let's position that around this room here and scale it accordingly. And here we go, and then we'll maybe duplicate it a time or so to add a little detail to our ring. Let's hold down the control key and drag, and let's make a duplicate, and then we can position that later on. One thing that might be cool would be a ceiling. So let's go back and look for something that might work as a ceiling. It just hit me one day. I've got some building object images that I got from cgtextures.com, and this one object here, I'm going to hold down Control key again, drag it over to the stage, and it might serve as a ceiling. It's really a window, but once again, it has some pink in it for some bizarre reason. I'm being haunted by pink, so I'm going to take that color out, pretty much, and let's now rotate that and maybe put it on the ceiling and make sure we're at a 90-degree. Okay, and let's use the gizmo and bring that up. Hold down the Alt key here, back up a little bit, and position that, and do a little more scaling, and a little scaling this way, and then let's push it back in the background there, a little more scaling probably. And then got an interesting ceiling, more or less. I think I might like to do something a little different here. Let's see about tweaking it a little more. How about, that's okay, but let's add a glow to it, and click on glow, and just grab this blue here, and voila, that's kind of cool. We'll take a little of that down so it's a little darker looking, but that might work as some kind of ceiling gliding. I'm going to turn off shadowing. I don't want it to cast a shadow because I'm going to probably put my light, and let's start thinking about lighting. Turn on light 1 here and make it a spotlight, and get my ambient light down pretty low. Give it a blue cast. I like to do that pretty low. And now let's adjust this spotlight. Now if we drag it above the ceiling, it shouldn't cast a shadow. The ceiling, everything else should be shadowing. And let's adjust the spotlight angle, maybe just a little bit for now, and a little more fall off, and probably give it a little bit of a blue cast since our ceiling has got a blue look to it. And there we go. Okay, so we'll play with that light some. We'll think about adding some more lights to give it a little detail in some areas. Let's just think about probably not a shadow casting light, but a little point light. Let's turn one of these on and give it some color and warm it up. And I'm going to stick it, and of course it was already there since I've been playing with this light. I'm going to move it right into this little, we'll call it a work nook, and that'll give us a little light. And once again, watch the range. Don't want to light up everything, but just a little bit. So I'll play with it, but roughly in that area there. Probably take it down a little more. And then another light, which I've been playing with, another point light, would be here in this tunnel. And let's give it a green cast to it. And now we've got us a light here in the tunnel. It's kind of cool. And we'll tweak it around and play with that some. But we're beginning to get some of the basic looks for the room as you play with that lighting. Okay, I'm going to add a few more objects and tweak the lighting a little bit. And let's take a final look and see if the girl robot likes it.
I like it because, let's face it, this just ain't right.